Welcome, friends. Let me share my thoughts on the scope, or I should say, non scope of yogas in Krishnamurti Paddhati. We know that yogas are not made use of in Krishnamurti Paddhati. This is also where KP predictive framework makes a serious departure from the Parashari Jyotish in terms of making use of yoga and not making use of yoga. KP's predictive framework in many ways is so different that it seems like it has no room for accommodating the traditional yoga. Let's look at what Sri KSK had to say about the yogas. Ex- Existence of Raj Yoga in a horoscope is not a guarantee that one will enjoy one's life. It is not universally applicable. It fails miserably and hence it is meaningless. Then KSK says there are people rolling in wealth, holding responsible position without any yogas. Point number three is important, where he says when one considers the horoscope of Lord Rama, one finds many yogas. Can such yogas get him separated from wife and be passing anxious time? Many of my friends and relatives, when they discuss their horoscope with me, they take pride in repeatedly informing me of the number of Raj Yoga or Dhana Yoga or other yoga present in their horoscope. Though they have lived a most average life, devoid of any accomplishment and always struggling for money. So I guess it's just a feel good factor. So when Shri Krishnamurti says in the context of the yoga, he says that let me not write volumes on this unscientific method of examining a horoscope. This he has mentioned in the context of the using yogas. So we think that the use of various yogas has been completely ruled out by Krishnamurti. This might not be true. Let us look at some of his accommodating views on yogas. These views, these pointers, those are positively inclined towards the use of yoga within the KP framework are scattered in his various readers and give some idea about the method how this yoga need to be interpreted within the KP framework. So let's look at a few. This is the first one. In the third reader on page 260, Krishnamurti has mentioned about the Nipun Yoga. So what he says, Sun conjunction with Mercury or in the constellation or sub of Mercury causes Nipun Yoga. This is a very popular yoga, Nipun Yoga. We know that Sun and Mercury combination in the Parashar or the old astrology, Sun and Mercury combination results in the Nipun Yoga. But if you look at how uh, KSK had mentioned the same thing, and if we remove these particular words, then you see what it becomes. Sun in the constellation or sub of Mercury causes Nipin Yoga. So you can see how Shri KSK makes use of Star Lord or Sub Lord to give it what I would say a KP touch by making use of the Star Lord Sub Lord. Then in the Nipun Yoga has been accommodated within the KP framework. Let's look at another popular yoga in the old astrology. This is called the Dharma Karma Adhipati Yoga. This is basically a relationship between the ninth house and the 10th house. This is a very common and popular yoga. Now, what Krishnamurti is saying is that according to me, there will be to some extent such beneficial results. This he's writing this in context of a analysis that he's making for a horoscope. So I just extracted a few lines. According to me, there will be to some extent such beneficial result similar to Dharma Karma Yoga and Lord of 10 occupying the constellation of Lord of 9. So here also you see that Krishnamurti has made use of the constellation Lord. He has not outrightly rejected or ignored or denied the use of the this particular yoga. In fact, he has mentioned that there will be to some extent such beneficial result similar to this yoga, and then he has translated this yoga within his own framework by making use of the constellation or Lord of Nine. And you can find this on page 242 of this third reader book. Now, one of the very interesting, a little bit complicated yoga, where I think Shri KSK has made it very clear that he is not against the use of yoga. His only condition, his only expectation seems to be that it should fall within the KP framework. Let's look at this particular yoga. Now, Krishnamurti says that this particular astrologer in Jatak Parijat has that one can become a minister. This is a yoga that is mentioned in Jatak Parijat about a person who can gain ministership or who can have power, fame, those kind of a thing. So this is a traditional old yoga. If Moon, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn are conjoined in a house, not a sign, they make the person a minister. Now this is the explanation of the yoga in the old format. Now look at how Shri KSK has translated this into his own KP framework language. He says, according to Krishnamurti Paddhati, Venus in Jupiter sign, Mercury star, Moon sub, aspected by Saturn by third aspect, produces the above result. Now, this is something very interesting where Professor Krishnamurti is clearly saying that the above yoga, the traditional yoga, can also be seen in the light of the KP framework if we make use of the star lord and sublord. Now, obviously, if you look at Moon, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, these kind of a combination, then and you try to integrate it with the sublord and the star lord, then there will be a certain point in the zodiac that divided according to the KP rule, where you will be able to match these points. So one is this, the where he says that the Venus in Jupiter sign, Mercury star, Moon sub aspected by Saturn by third aspect produces the above result. And another combination that can appear within the KP is 1 to 249 subdivisions of the zodiac is or Saturn in Mercury sign, Jupiter star, Moon sub aspected by Venus causes the above effect. And then there is a third combination also that he has mentioned. The most important thing is the concluding lines where Professor Krishnamurti is saying they need not be conjoined. What results are promised by conjunction will be produced by being situated in a position where the sign lord, star lord, and sub lord are the same planets. So this is a very strongly typed instruction from Professor Krishnamurti how to apply the yoga within the KP framework. So what I did was that I just made a note of the first one, where this particular one, where Krishnamurti says that Venus in Jupiter sign, Mercury star, Moon sub aspected by Saturn by third aspect produces the above result. What are the above result? The yoga that can bring power, prestige, ministership, things like that. In fact, I was able to create a horoscope using KP Knox, and this is the horoscope. So if you look at this particular combination that we just discussed, that what Professor Krishnamurti has mentioned, Venus in Jupiter sign. So you find that Venus is in Jupiter sign, and then say that Mercury star. So if you look at over here, you see Mercury star, Venus. I've just extracted the Venus information. Venus is in Jupiter sign, it's in Mercury star, and Moon sub, and the Moon sub, and aspected by Saturn. Third aspect. So Saturn is aspecting from the Saturn has the third aspect. So in this particular yoga, the ascendant has not been mentioned. I just kind of thought of taking Pisces, but any ascendant could have been there. This is very important that no ascendant has been mentioned. So we don't know what ascendant need to be taken. But if you look at this horoscope, then you find that this particular yoga is completely according to the KP framework, it appears in this particular horoscope. So if you know anyone who might have been born on this date and this time and in New Delhi, then you might want to inform them about the name, fame, and ministership for such a child. Now let's move on to the my own thoughts. I have been reading about Professor Krishnamurti's comments on yoga, which are scattered all over the place. And I was pretty much encouraged by Shri KSK's instruction about the interpretation of yoga. And I thought that let me also explore some yoga and do some of my research. And here is something I would like to share. So what I did was the first rule I created for myself was that the KP yoga should be using house, which is the cusp, planet, star lord, and sublord. So these are the conditions that this yoga should be having. And the yoga that I identified was that a person will be proactively involved with publication activities related to astrology or religion. See, it is very difficult to confidently say in a horoscope that this person or this child will be proactively involved with publication activities related to astrology or religion. So this was the outcome of the possible yoga that I had on my mind. And then I realized that these are the steps that or the rules that I figured out were working. The third house should be ruled by Mercury sign. That's a Gemini or Virgo or Jupiter sign, Sagittarius and the Pisces. Now, for this to be possible for all the ascendant, irrespective of all the ascendant, you have to take a chart, you have to take a cusp chart. Otherwise, this is not possible. Only in the cusp chart, irrespective of the ascendant, it is possible to have the third cusp ruled by Mercury or a Jupiter sign, ruled by a Mercury sign or a Jupiter ruled sign, plus any of the following condition. Mercury has Mercury or Jupiter as star lord or sublord, or Jupiter has Jupiter or Mercury as star lord or sublord. All these conditions, when all these conditions come together, only then you can say, at least I have been saying that with confidence whenever I look at a chart, and if I see this combination, then I do not hesitate at all to declare boldly the presence of this particular yoga, that this particular child or this particular person will be very actively involved with publication activities related to astrology and religion. But you need a lot of charts to actually, the corroborate or, you need some statistical data. So do look into your chart and see if you have this kind of a yoga present in your horoscope, and if you feel you can share your comments about your horoscope with me. So yogas are worth exploring within the KP framework. I would definitely suggest you to take a close look at the yogas, because the way Krishnamurti has explained to make use of the star lord sublord, it eliminates the need for taking into consideration the cuspal sublord. I think yesterday or day before yesterday, I already uploaded a video indicating that why we can't possibly rely on the cuspal sublord to figure out the possible yogas in a horoscope. So this is a new unexplored approach that might be of some interest. I might have some more to share on this, but that I'll do in some other video. So thanks for watching.